So you want to start with the mesenteries. Okay. You're going to start let's just start with pleura and peritoneum. So you have your pleura in your thoracic cavity. You have your parietal pleura on the body wall, visceral pleura on the lungs. Sac around the heart is called the pericardium. Okay. The diaphragm is the separation point. Down here it's peritoneum. So I'd have visceral peritoneum on the liver, the stomach, parietal peritoneum here. Now, if you look at the omentum, this is your greater omentum. Okay. Omental bursa are the little pads in here. The lesser omentum is up here. It is between it holds the stomach and the liver together. This lays over the top and protects it. The mesoduodenum would be where the membrane holding where the duodenum is together in here. Mesentery proper, usually, I haven't looked at your lab book, but usually that's the stuff that's between the loops of the intestine. Then you have your mesocolon. It's this piece that attaches the colon to the back wall. Okay. I'm not sure how far they're going to go with that. You have your falciform ligament, your median ligament, your round ligament. Those are all around the liver. Okay. So you have your falciform ligament comes down the middle and divides the liver in half. Okay. The median ligament is up here, and the round ligament is kind of hard to see. It would be on the back. I think that would be, in my opinion, that would be very difficult to pin. Okay. We talked about peritoneum. So if we go up here in the neck, okay, and I like to check them off. Your oral cavity, the oral cavity should be the easiest thing. Okay, you have the teeth, incisors, canines, premolars, molars. Gingiva are just the gums. Gingiva on any animal is the gum. Okay, where's the vestibule? I'm asking. Where's the vestibule of the mouth? You studied this. Where do you think it is?
The whole mouth.
The whole mouth, right. Okay. Hard and soft palate. Okay, hard palate in the front, soft palate in the back. To see the palatoglossal arch, you tell me, where do you think it is? Can I see it on this cat? No, you have to have the mouth cut open. It's in the back, okay. I took a look at that picture. They would have, if the mouth isn't cut open, they're not asking for it. Those are the little tricks that I have learned along the way. Okay. The labial frenulum is this piece that attaches the tongue to the floor of the mouth. It's a little hard to get to, but see it right here? You can see yours. If you stick your tongue up, you can see where it's hooked on the bottom. So that's pretty easy. Now you have your tongue. You have the root. Where's your root?
The very back.
The very back. The apex is the very front. Where's the sulcus?
The bottom of it?
Do you all agree?
Sulcus is. What's sulcus? In the brain.
No, but they have it on the tongue.
Yeah, but it means the same thing.
Yeah, it means the same thing.
So what is a sulcus?
Like not the indentation, but like the crease.
The end.
So
That's the
in
end.
your tongue, where is there a sulcus?
Oh, right down the middle.
Yeah, it's the thing that runs right down the center.
All these words are similar, so you can just pull them all together.
Lingual frenulum, we can see. I don't think I can see the lingual tonsils on this cat. I think the lingual tonsils would be a real
That
straight.
sounds like a model problem.
I would go with the model on, lingual tonsils.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I don't think that they're going to be able to find on the cat.
Okay, I've never been able to find them on the cat. So
I
that's,
didn't know they had them, honestly.
they do, but they're really hard to see, and they're really small. Okay, and let me put it that way, if that's the only thing you miss, I wouldn't worry about it. But they would be under the tongue, and they would be like little masses of lymphatic tissue. But I could not, in all honesty, point to
It'd be
this
so
one.
hard to get it exposed and
Yeah.
pinned. And
That doesn't mean they wouldn't try.
Because you got to be able to see the actual type of tissue.
I doubt
I
it.
wouldn't worry about it.
I would look for tonsils on that guy.
Oh, here, the other models.
Yeah, that's where I would look at my
definitely,
tonsils.
But not on the cat. I wouldn't worry so much.
Okay, and you have the papillae on the tongue. We talked about where is the fungiforms are across the. You have your filiform, fungiform, valate, foliate. They're just going to be the areas of the tongue. I would just memorize where they are on the tongue. And if they're asking for a papillae and they're in that area, you know where they are. That's a memorization thing, because it really would be hard to distinguish them here. Okay, salivary glands, submandibular, parotid, sublingual. Let's see what we got here. They're a little tricky. This one's not real good. But your parotid gland would be your easiest ones to get. It's right here. Your submandibular, they don't have it out here good, but it would be down in here. I have not seen a sublingual on any of these. Have you? No. I think that
sublingual is super hard on the cat, and I doubt that they would even pull it.
palatine tonsils, I can't see them, but they would be at the back of the palate. I would look for them on here though, on the model. They would be right at the back where the soft palate ends. They would be on either side. Pharyngeal tonsils would be up higher. Sublingual tonsils would be under the tongue. And I would definitely use him.
Yeah, they're not even that good on here.
They're not even, but they're better.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, if you look there, it's a little too far away from you. These are your pharyngeal, these are your adenoids, your pharyngeal tonsils. Okay? This would be your palatine. And your submandibular should be, humans have a submandibular, see it right there? But I think they're more reasonable on here. I think they're, you can see them on there.
We do have some that are a little better than that though.
Yeah, but you have to look at all the models because you don't know which one they're going to use. Then you would have your pharynx, which is here. On the pharynx on the cat, I can see the thyroid cartilage, which is the big one. I can see the lower one, which is cricoid. I do not believe on the cat I could really see the epiglottis or the vocal cords. You would have to have the model. They wouldn't ask the epiglottis or the vocal cords on the cat. No, that would be the model. But you would have to watch the question. For example, if I say, what is this whole structure? It's the larynx. If I say, what is this part? This would be your thyroid. This down here would be your cricoid cartilage. And I would put the word cartilage down. Okay, and then you do have the thyroid gland. I don't think they have it on here, do they?
No, usually.
Yeah, they do. I thought they did.
Yeah, but usually they're gone on the cats because when they dissect the neck and everything.
Well, here it is. This is a thyroid right there. I can usually find one.
Gland?
Yep, they're pretty big. Okay, thymus gland is going to be right. It's going to be this mushy stuff in here. It should come up the neck and come down to the heart, depending on the age of the cat. But that would be thymus. Do they give them enough lead in? Like, would they say gland or would they just say structure?
I think sometimes they do that.
Yeah, if they tell you, that helps.
Back
Yeah.
and forth with it a little bit.
Okay. So then pharynx, oropharynx, nasopharynx, laryngopharynx, you have to be on the model. You
It's just
have
like
to.
nasopharynx, oropharynx,
Laryngeal.
and
I would only ask that on a model. You can't see it on
no.
here.
Yeah,
You have to be
that's not
realistic
a
what
cat.
you can find on the cat. Okay, trachea is right here. The trachea has the rings. The larynx is solid. Let's see what else we have here. I should be able to see the esophagus. Now I'd have to dissect this out a little more, but the esophagus is this structure. It's like a flat structure underneath. It sort of collapses. It's not well dissected on this cat, but it is underneath here. I think. It's got to have one. But it would be underneath the trachea. Vagus nerve. I have not seen a good vagus nerve on these cats, but it would be running down alongside here. And it would be white. Nerves are white. So if it's a white structure, it looks like a white string. They're looking for a nerve. The only nerve on here is the vagus, so that's how I would study it. You know, if they gave you a lot of nerves, it would be hard. But the only one they're asking you for is the vagus, and it's going to look like a white string. I can't see the vocal cords on here. Lungs, I should be able to see the lobes. I should be able to see superior. I should be able to see in the middle. I should be able to see the middle, and I should be able to see the inferior. And you should be able, I think if I were answering this and I wasn't sure, I would distinguish whether it's right or left. They don't say it on here, but I would distinguish right or left. Accessory lobes are down in here in the middle. I don't think you can see the primary bronchi on here, but they would be the ones coming off the trachea and going in. I think I would be on the model. I would make sure I could find all those bronchi on the model. Phrenic nerve would be down in here. Again, it would be white. I don't see it on this kit. Okay, let's see. Mediastinum. The mediastinum is the structure that separates the thoracic cavity into right and left sides. And the pericardium sits in the middle. It would be hard on here. But remember when you opened it and we had that thing we cut? That was your mediastinum. In other words, the right part of the pleural cavity is separated from the left part, and then it comes up and it wraps around the heart. You should be able to see the diaphragm, pericardial sac. I think we did that right. This would be your diaphragm. This guy has water fat too.
Yeah.
He either has a water fat or he has a tumor. Okay, so then you have your liver, and you have your right median and your right lateral, and you have your left medium and your left lateral, and you have the quadrate and the caudate lobes. Okay, right median is pretty big, has the gallbladder on it. Right lateral is down there, small. On the left side, the left median is small, the left lateral is big, and those other two, I'm not going to dig them out, but they're down in there. I would take a look at some of the pictures. Okay. Gallbladder, you should be able to identify the gallbladder. Cystic duct, if you've done this, comes off the gallbladder. Again, I think the ducts are, I would ask the cystic duct on the cat. I think the others would be hard on the cat. I would go to the model. But I think they have hepatic ducts, common bile duct. So you have two hepatic ducts, you have a cystic duct, one from each side of the liver. They join together to form the common bile duct. And then the common bile duct is going to go into the duodenum. So you got to find the duodenum right here. I said you couldn't see it, but there it is. That'd be your common bile duct. I still think it would be on the model, but you see how it comes, all of these joined together, and see where it's going right. I can see where it's going right into the duodenum. I've never seen one that good before. Hopefully they won't find it. Okay, so we did the liver, we did the gallbladder. Okay, back in here they did not really clean them out, but you can clean out the kidneys. Kidneys are retroperitoneal, so you can pull off the peritoneum. The adrenal glands are on top of the kidneys. They would be on top of the kidney. You should be able to find the bladder. And I don't know if I can find it on this cat, but there should be ureters going down to the bladder. They are something you can find on the cat. But you would have to clean it out a little bit. And I'm not going to clean it out. See, all that fat would have to come off. And you would see a white tube that goes down from the kidney, and I could actually trace it right down to the bladder. That is a fair question. So you might want to look. I think it's a reasonable question. You might want to look at a cat. Somebody really clean them out? Because somebody doing the lab test could sit here and clean this out. But you would see it. It would come off the kidney. It should come off the... God, I've never seen so much fat on any of these in my life. But coming off the kidney, you should see it. But it would be, you can see blood vessels, it would be white, it would come down, and it would go down to the bladder, and that's your bladder. I'm not sure how far they'd go with that. This would be the bladder. I could get the urethra on the bladder. I'd have to get the fat off of it, and I should be able to see the urethra going out.
Yeah, because they changed it like 3 days.
This is where if you didn't finish your dissection, it could hurt you. Do you see the urethra?
Yeah.
It's right there. The ureters are, that's a ureter. See, it's going to come into the back. But I should be able to trace that all the way up to the kidney.
can definitely.
Ureters go from the kidney to the bladder, 2 of them, 1 urethra. That's a pretty nice urethra right there.
Just put a core off and take a chem.
Okay, stomach.
Do you think it'll be like too hard?
You're gonna have, your stomach is right here. My impression is that you're gonna have to know the parts. This is the greater curvature. The greater omentum comes off the greater curvature. This is the lesser curvature. The lesser omentum comes off the lesser curvature. That always helped me to remember where they were, because I'm linking the parts together. And if I'm not sure, I can come back to it.
So
Okay, you can have the fundus of the stomach, cardiac stomach. Okay, your cardiac stomach is all the way up at the very top. Your fundus is this bulge. There's people who get gastric bypass, you know what they do is they separate that so that they get full fast. So cardiac is at the very top. The bulgy area here is the fundus.
Are you guys still taking physical assessment?
What he's calling the corporis, the book is probably calling the body.
We changed that to what?
Then you're going to see where it turns up here. This is the pylorus. So I have cardiac, fundus, body, pylorus. Greater curvature, lesser curvature. You can get a lot out of the stomach here. Cardiac valve is up here. Pyloric valve would be inside here. If it's asking you for a valve, you got to watch the question. Where the pylorus connects to the duodenum, inside here is the pyloric valve. Okay? The rugae are inside. If I were going to ask this on a lab test, I would cut the stomach open and show them to you. They're folds. You could also get them on the human model. Or you could say, what do we call the folds inside? I didn't look that close at the questions to see how they did that.
This is like the official.
Okay, you can have your spleen. I told people it looks like a dog tongue.
I mean, I did it.
It's on the left side. This is the spleen.
This is
Pancreas.
like microbiome.
You got to lift this up to see the pancreas.
Supposed to be over there.
That's how we did it.
Look at this.
No,
Yeah, that's how I can do it.
this is your pancreas. It goes under the duodenum and comes around over here.
I was showing it.
So it's all of this.
They're doing that.
Look at the
because
pancreas on the human. It will help
they're
you.
doing concept of
You have a ventral and you have a dorsal. Ventral to the front, dorsal to the back. Small intestine.
Freshman took a nursing course.
You got to be handle you got to handle the small intestine a little bit. Okay. And I know they don't let you touch it.
That was point of anatomy.
The duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. It's considered duodenum until it starts to make the bends. So this part here would be the duodenum. It's connected to the stomach.
Make you want to be a nurse.
Then the first part here would be the jejunum, and the last part is the ileum. They're kind of hard to separate unless you, like if I go right here, I would know this is jejunum.
So yeah, you got kind of.
Then to be sure on a lab test, the ileum is the last part. It's going to connect to the large intestine. You can see the difference.
Because they're
So this is small, this is probably ileum here, and this is large. So if it's like this and they say, what is this? I would double my bets. I'd put small intestine / ileum.
literally everything. It's like all the
Then this would be the large intestine.
everything is filled.
If you look at the large intestine, the colon, you have ascending, which is coming up. You have transverse.
It's such a.
You have descending.
Do you want to?
Okay.
When do you want to?
You have the rectum, which would be down in here. Rectum would be down here. Anus would be on the outside.
So you still
Now,
got.
the only other two things on here are the cecum and the ileocecal valve.
Wait, what is it?
This is the cecum. See where they connect? This is where they connect. It's kind of like right here. And the ileocecal valve would be right in there.
Okay.
Okay?
She was like,
I think that's all of it.
That's a
I
great
think we got it all.
idea.